So when it comes to narcissistic individuals, they are part of the dark triad, which also includes Machiavellianism and psychopathy, a psychopath. And I think recent research has started to include sadism in this as well. And more often than not, we can sort of be led to believe that we're dealing with a narcissistic individual when we're actually dealing with a psychopath. Now, psychopaths can blend into society very well. They can be very high achievers. They don't all go around committing horrific crimes as such. However, they're very good at charming and manipulating their way to getting their needs met. When it comes to narcissistic individuals, they tend to lack empathy. They tend to lack the ability to understand or care. When it comes to a psychopath, they tend to have no empathy. They tend to show no remorse for their behaviour. It's highly unlikely you will even get a false apology from a psychopath because they believe that they are in the right, and often they do have that touch of sadism, so they actually gain the pleasure out of the pain that they have caused you. They are incredibly manipulative. They have that charismatic charm to influence people into admiring them, wanting to spend time with them, enjoy their company. They're full of that flattery and insincere praise, and they take it to a point where their insincere praise feels sort of uncomfortable. You actually feel uneasy around them, and you can sort of laugh off what they're saying or what they're doing when they're focused on you, because they tend to zone in on one person to gain the admiration, to make you feel special. And you've got that sense of unease and you don't quite know where to put yourself. But they're incredibly charming and they manage to win people over. They can be extremely impulsive. They act on impulse. They do not think or considerate any form of consequences for their actions. They display a lot of reckless behaviour. They see something, they want it, they go all out to get it. They're incredibly impulsive people. Now, there is the term malignant narcissist, which I believe Eric Fromm was the first person to talk about this one. If I'm wrong, I shall link the name here. When it comes to the malignant narcissist, it isn't a official diagnosis, but malignant meaning in evil in nature and effect. So the malignant narcissist can kind of cross paths between Machiavellianism and psychopath and sadism, and they've also got things such as antisocial personality disorder. There's a lot of traits mixed into one person, and these are the kinds of people you do not want to be around. When it comes to psychopaths, they have that kind of callousness. As they have no empathy, they don't display any form of remorse. They don't feel any form of remorse. They don't feel any form of guilt. They can be incredibly indifferent, where you'll often find with a narcissistic individual, because they're all about trying to keep up their appearances, if they do something that paints them in a negative light, whereby they might look bad towards other people, they can sort of feel that moment of shame, which is why they will quickly pass the blame. They'll quickly scapegoat somebody else. Whereas you'll often notice with a psychopath, they'll just turn around and claim, well, they deserved it. If they hadn't have done this, well, it's their fault. It's not my problem. I'm teaching them a lesson. They actually believe that they are in the right, hurting or harming another individual. They're incredibly deceitful. They're incredibly dishonest. They will lie and manipulate in order to exploit people and get their needs met by people. They're looking for the quick win, the quick fix. They're incredibly irresponsible people. They have a complete disregard for other people's safety, including their own family, including their own children. They have a complete disregard for any sort of social rules or social norms. They were made to be broken, and they don't see any form of problem to why them breaking them is such a big issue. They fail to take responsibility. They believe that, well, I'm allowed to do that. And they're not interested in what the people think. They're interested in winning people over so that they can get their needs met. And then they will happily destroy those people if they believe that those people are of no use to them, or those people could expose them. They will happily climb over anybody and everybody to get their way to the top. And they often believe it's the other person's fault for not being manipulative like they are, that it's the other person's fault for being naive to the situation, not that there's anything wrong with their behaviour. And they often lack any form of long-term goals. So they might want to climb their way to the top at something, but they want to get there as quickly as they possibly can. People in general can lack patience. This is slightly different. Psychopaths tend to want to get there as quick as they can. They don't care who they walk over. And once they've achieved their goal, they tend to be bored, and then time to move on to something else. And they leave a wake of destruction in their path. Psychopaths are often the kind of people who move around a lot, partly because they're bored, partly because they don't have those long-term goals, and partly because they get people to a point where people recognise what they're doing, so they swiftly move on before they can be exposed. Any signs of a psychopath that you notice, please do add those into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have several books out on Amazon: 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People If You Cannot Go No Contact, How to Create Boundaries Around Those Who Have No Respect for Your Boundaries, and a Narcissists Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming the pattern of narcissistic and emotional abuse. They'll be in the description also if you'd like to go and check them out. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.